Hey Teal Nation, it's Sam Wiederhaft with you for another round of the Chant Pod presented by Revolution Mortgage. Man, what a fun time to be a Chant. Coastal Baseball is headed to the Super Regional for the first time since 2016 and fourth time overall. They did that by sweeping the Conway Regional with a win over Fairfield and 2 wins over ECU, and the record-breaking crowd at Springbrook Stadium got to see one of the coolest celebrations we've ever had in Conway. That regional championship win over ECU came down to the wire with a 1-0 victory, and that one run came from center fielder Wells Sykes, who joins the show today. Wells has played an instrumental role in this outfield, whether it be his elite defense or his ability to get on base. This conversation gives you a look at just how focused and confident this team is and how fun it's been to win 21 games in a row and a few championships in there as well. So let's get set for Super Regionals. Here's my conversation with Wells Sykes. Your Chanticleers have just won the 2025 Conway Regional Championship right here at Springbrook Stadium. They're headed on to the Super Regionals to take on Auburn this weekend and to talk us through it, how great last weekend was, and the road ahead, Coastal starting center fielder Wells Sykes. Wells, appreciate the time, man.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Well, first off, congratulations on the regional championship. Getting to do it here at home in 3 games. Just put last weekend into words for me.
Man, it's honestly hard to put into words because, you know, that feeling is unbelievable. But, you know, if I had to put into words, it's phenomenal and one of the best experiences I've ever had personally. But I know from a team aspect, from the relationship we have between us as players and us with our coaches and us with our support staff and everybody around this campus, it was an unbelievable feeling, kind of indescribable, you know, just so much happiness and joy. And it was like, you know, all of our hard work had finally, you know, paid off. And I know coming from a different school, you know, Coach Schnall always talked about, you know, we've been in the regional championship for 4 years in a row, and we just needed to finish the deal. And that's why I think it's so much joy, because we owned it, we came together, all together, and finally closed the deal on that regional championship.
Yeah, got the job done this year in 3 games.
Right.
Swept all the way through the weekend, had to beat ECU twice. And just tell me about the different vibes of those 2 games, because Saturday it was a blowout. You guys came out and, you know, as the game went on, started to put more runs on the board.
Right.
And then Sunday, complete pitcher's duel, a 1-0 win. You were a big part of that. We'll talk about that later. But both games were just completely different.
Right. You know, and when I look back on Saturday night specifically, like it was like, you know, it was kind of back and forth there for a minute. So we would have high energy, and then, you know, East Carolina responded well. I got to give credit to them, but you know, with I think of Colby's big grand slam and that high energy, that grand slam kind of, you know, got us over the edge a little bit there, got us some relief. But, you know, both games, bottom line, were just a straight battle. And I got to give credit to all my teammates, all my coaches, all the support staff. Never gave up. You know, we stayed focused, stayed locked in on our plan, and we just executed. And that's the best way that I can, you know, think about the 2 games. And you know, I can't thank the fans enough for the energy. I know that Saturday night specifically, when we scored all those runs, they were a huge factor. And then in the pitcher's duel on Sunday, you know, the hitters were struggling a little bit for most of the game, you know, hitting some balls hard, but, you know, needed a ball to bounce our way here or there. And then the fans stayed in it, you know, helped the pitchers out. And that's how we were able to just battle through and finally get that 1 run on Sunday. But awesome weekend, and I can't thank the fans enough in specific.
As that Sunday game goes on, and you know, no runs in the 6th, no runs in the 7th, Riley Heikoff is dealing, but just not putting up the runs. Is it kind of an anxious feeling in the dugout? Like, how were you guys feeling, just, you know, wanting to back that awesome pitching performance up?
Right. You know, I mean, the best way I can think about it is it is an anxious feeling from a standpoint that, you know, there's a lot of pressure on both sides of the ball there, but I you know, I always fall back to our own it process. And you know, in any situation, whether it be good or bad, you know, in the dugout, I think we do a phenomenal job as a team, keeping the morale positive. And we know that, you know, if little things go our way and we're able to execute a couple at bats here, a couple pitches there, that we'll be just fine. And I think that during the whole game, even when it was 0-0 back and forth, you know, we all the position players had trust in Ike and the pitching staff and the war room, you know, to keep us in the game, to have a chance to, you know, possibly win by 1 or 2 runs. And so I think that's why the morale and the positivity in the dugout was great, because we knew we were going to be okay. And as soon as we got that one run, we had Dom Carbone, the dominator, come in, and we knew we were safe. So
that one run was you. You lead off the bottom of the 8th inning with a single. Caden Bodine comes up and flies out to the outfield. You tag up from first to second base, which is a move that we don't see too often. Take me through that process and how that played out.
Right. So it's actually, it was a kind of a roll of emotions going through my head right there when the ball was hitting the air, because we have specific base running rules that we must follow. But I knew that in that situation the ball was hit deep enough that I needed to put myself in scoring position. I knew that we had our second hitter coming up in Seabass, and I'm kind of all playing this through my mind as the ball is flying through the air. So I knew that if I could get in scoring position right here in the 8th inning, we got Dom Carbone in the game. All we need is one big hit, or like what happened, a pass ball for me to get to third.
Yeah.
And I knew that as soon as that happened, we could get that one run across and we could be good to go. But and as the ball was flying through the air, I'm sitting there like, I sat there for a second to stay off just to kind of see like how far it was actually going. And then, as soon as I saw that he was going to be camped under it in center, I hurried back to first, made sure I could get to second. So
yeah.
I thought that was, I thought that was big and it really helped us, so I could get to third.
Yeah, and you got in scoring position. You got to third on the pass ball, and Sebastian Alexander comes up and delivers the game-winning sacrifice fly.
Right.
You come in to score and just let out so much emotion. What was that moment like to get that one run home?
Oh man, I mean, honestly, it's hard to describe because in that moment it's so loud in the stadium, and it's like you kind of black out. Like it's like you hear it, but at the same time, the way to describe it is you're so pumped and filled with excitement for not just yourself, but you can just feel for other people and the fans and the players and the coaches and you guys in the booth. Like, I could just feel for everybody because I knew that 0-0 ball game, late in the game, we score that one run. It's like, oh my goodness, like we got over that hump, and some games are going to be like that. It's going to be really tight. Some games are going to be blowouts. And I think that's what made it even more exciting was like both teams were fighting and we finally were able to, get that one run across, which made it like almost overly exciting.
Yeah.
So.
And we love baseball, but we didn't want to play on Monday. We didn't want to play an extra game. So we got it done in the one game, in the championship game on Sunday, and getting to dogpile on this home field. I mean, what did that mean to you and then just that moment?
Well, for me specifically, as I transferred here my grad year, I knew that, it was going to be my last game at the Palace. So I think that specifically for me and maybe some other seniors and for Ike and Ty Dooley and, some guys that aren't going to play here at the Palace anymore, I know that was a great moment for us. But besides, just me, all the teammates, all my coaches, all you guys just watching us, dogpile and finally, win that region championship in front of this crowd and to see Conway come out and support us is unbelievable. We can't thank those guys enough. But yeah, it's just this phenomenal moment. All of us together, everybody hugging each other and just showing that love for each other. And, I think back all the way to August. And I think it started on day one. And this was our goal. And I think when you finally realize like all your hard work pays off and you come together and you're just dogpiling and cheering and yelling, it's just a moment that's indescribable.
This team's won 21 straight games in the toughest part of the season, right? Right on through to the postseason. Over 50 wins. Just take me through what has made this team and this group so special.
I think of the own it. I think that we're a very disciplined team. We know what it takes to execute our plan, and I think I thoroughly believe that's why we're in the moment that we're in now. Winning 21 straight games is not easy. It's very hard to do in baseball, and I think Coach Schnall makes us realize that, it's not easy to do, and it's important for us to realize that all of our hard work and all of the enthusiasm and all the support is a major factor for us to continue to do that over and over and over. And so, and I think that Coach Nall wants us to make sure that we don't take winning ball games for granted, no matter who it is, So I think that just us owning, the good times, us owning the bad times, showing up every day, relentless, selfless, just all those factors have helped us kind of combine everything together as one to reach the success that we've had.
Brian Quigley on Twitter always tweets out that clip of Kevin Schnall saying how hard it is to win baseball games. And we won tonight. I think that was after the first win.
That's right.
After every single win, we get that clip on Twitter.
Right.
We've had a lot of those this year. I mean, you talk about it starting back in August and, first days on the field. Could you have imagined when you decided to come here after playing at the Citadel and coming to Coastal Carolina, imagine a year like this?
Honestly, I had no idea, what I was kind of getting to. I knew that Coastal Carolina in the past, when I was growing up as a kid, being a South Carolina native, I was a big Coastal fan. I actually went to high school with Connor Owings and Mike Morrison, so they went to my high school, and I grew up, pulling for Coastal and knew that the reputation here in the baseball program was very high and high expectations here. So I knew that me coming here was going to be a challenge, a step up from something that I hadn't been used to. But as time went on in August and time went on in September and time went on in October, I knew that we were building something special. And it wasn't just the players that knew that in the dugout. It was our coaches. It was you guys. It was the support staff. It was Amanda. It was everybody involved knew every day that we were building something on top of each other, and I think we just built days over and over and over and realized how good of a team we actually had. Mm-hmm. And so I think that's the moment where I realized as a grad player who's played a good bit of baseball, it's man, this team's got the maturity, this team's got the discipline, this team's got the togetherness to win a lot of ball games.
Yeah. Talking with Coastal center fielder Wells Sykes on the Chant Pod presented by Revolution Mortgage. Okay, let me go. Your postseason stats are incredible. Let me go through some of what we got going here since the Sun Belt tournament. You're batting .458, a hit in all 7 ball games, multiple hits in 4 of those games, 9 runs batted in. Has it been the adrenaline of these big games and big moments? I mean, what's been working so well for you?
Yeah, I mean, the adrenaline for sure is definitely something that kind of I feel that it makes you lock in. But honestly, just I think me being around in the game for a while and having a lot of at-bats underneath my belt for the from the 3 years prior, I think it's a major contribution on why I've kind of here to the point where I am. And then, the coaching staff has set us up in many different situations, and we're prepared. And I think that that's the reason why not just me but other guys in the lineup are able to find success, because we're prepared and we're ready for the challenge. And no matter who's in that other dugout or the pitcher we're facing, everybody in the lineup and me, we're all ready for whatever's coming. So I mean, the success I've had in the postseason, I just hope to continue it, and the adrenaline and the fans and the crowded environments and the loud noises, I think, have allowed me to kind of really soak in the moment and enjoy what I have left. So
the story of your season took a turn in the JMU series. Dean Mijos goes down with an injury, who was playing center field, and you were playing in right field for Coastal. So you move over and take over that center field spot. That's where you've been since that series. And you played there at the Citadel, but was there an adjustment period for you? I mean, what was it like just having to make that change? Yeah,
I mean, it was honestly an adjustment from going from the Citadel, where I played at center, to going to right. So it was kind of I'd finally gotten 100% adjusted to playing right, and then I go back to center, and actually I got to be honest. I mean, as soon as I went back to center, the first day I was shagging balls, I felt like I was extremely comfortable. Mm-hmm. I felt like I was back in the place where honestly I could play the best and get the best reads, and I hated it for Dean at James Madison, but I knew that at that point I could step in and step up and help the team, because I'm played center field for a long time, and so yes, sir.
I mean, it showed in the Clemson game, those 3 leaping catches in center field that just had the crowd in a frenzy, myself included. I couldn't believe what I was watching. and you wake up and you see yourself on MLB's social media accounts. What was that moment?
Oh man, it was a great moment. You know, I got to thank my family and all my friends. They were major supporters when they saw that, and everybody here, of course. You know, I was definitely shocked a little bit. I mean, I knew they were good catches, but to be posted on MLB, that's a phenomenal moment. And so, but oh yeah, I gotta thank my coaches and everybody else has helped me get to this moment where I could be prepared to make catches like that in that moment. So, oh yeah, being posted on all types of social media, and I gotta thank you guys because I know that all the players in the locker room, thank you guys for all the social media push and allowing us to have the opportunity to be pushed across to sites like that, and it's definitely a good feeling.
It's a highlight reel outfield. I mean, yourself in center now, Pato in right field, and Alexander in left, and Mijos, who went down with the injury, but he was really good in center field as well. Just talk me through how close you guys are as an outfield unit.
Right. Oh, I mean, we know that. That's our group. You have a whole team and you're together. You love all, one another, but you have your position groups, and I'm sure it's the same for the infielders, and I know it is for War Room and in particular. But I think us going out there every day, you have your individual moments. Whether it's hitting in the cages together or taking fly balls or taking ground balls in the outfield. I think that extra period right there allows you. To go out there and joke around and lock in and, prepare for what you're going to deal with together in the outfield in specific. Because that, communication is key out there, and making sure you know each other, how fast each other are and what each other's strengths and weaknesses are in the outfield. I think that's key when you're getting to know each other. So I think we've done a great job of coming together and really embracing that outfield mentality, that no-fly zone mentality, and I think it's paid off for us as we've played phenomenal out there in the outfield.
You're kind of in a unique perspective because this is your grad year, your lone year at Coastal Carolina, and legendary head coach Gary Gilmore was here for a very long time, won a national championship, and every time I asked Kevin Schnall about his leadership, he always said that it's from Gary Gilmore. Like a lot of the lessons I learned from him are in my coaching philosophy. Do you kind of just feel Gilly's presence around here, even though that you were a guy that never played for him?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, I've heard Coach Schnall say it in multiple post-game interviews, and he thanks Gilly for all of his support and all of his lessons and leadership has gotten Coastal Carolina baseball program to this point. So, yeah, Coach Gilmore is definitely somebody that's talked about, very highly in the locker room. I've never met him personally, but I know that his standards and his regulations and the way that his reputation of this program has gotten to where we are today. And I know that Coach Stahl and all the rest of the coaches that were underneath him have thanked him, a tremendous amount of times. And I know the players in the locker room talk about the maturity and the discipline of Gilly and how important that is for the togetherness of a team.
3 years for you down in Charleston at the Citadel, military academy, unique experience. Kind of talk me through that and just what that experience was playing there.
Yeah, I mean, phenomenal experience. I met some of my best friends down there, some of my brothers. The Citadel's a brotherhood, so it's a you go through the highs and then you go through the lows because it's a military school. It's a very big challenge, but I wouldn't change it for the world, and I'm very blessed that I got a chance to go play there and play under Coach Skoll, and just having the opportunity to play at a prestigious school like the Citadel, and then having an opportunity to transfer here. I can't thank the Ward enough and all my support. It's been a phenomenal experience, and and the Citadel specifically, it's a challenge that some people may not want to do, but I went through it, and I thought it was one of the best experiences of my life. So,
Mickey Beach told me that you like to wake up at 5 a.m. every day. Is that true?
I mean, I tell you what, waking up at 5 a.m. every day is a major challenge, and you wake up some mornings and you're extremely mad. But at the end of the day, it teaches you discipline. It teaches you maturity to get up every day and keep going. So I think it's helped me. Yeah. Transferring here and doing online school, it's helped me have the discipline and the maturity to do my work. And even though it's a different atmosphere, it's been great.
It's all a routine.
Right.
All routine based with you. I heard about, did you play with Ty Dooley in Little League?
I did. So
Wow.
I grew up playing with Ty, and I think between the ages of 11 to 14.
Wow.
So we played many travel ball tournaments together.
Yeah.
Great times.
I mean, what's it like having, the connection? I mean, he goes to Radford, you go to the
Right.
Citadel, you guys both reunited Coastal Carolina. I mean, just, what's it like playing with him?
Oh man, it's kind of a bittersweet moment. We sat down in the dugout on Friday night, right before Fairfield, and it was me and him sitting on the bench, and he looks at me and he kind of puts his arm around me. He's like, man, I never would imagine us here. And I was like, man, this is a crazy moment, because you sit there together, and you were once 12, 13 years old. You don't realize like what could possibly be in the future, and then you sit there in that moment, and 6,500 fans are at the stadium, and you're sitting there, and you're like, we're finally back together, man. And it's a great moment. It's hard to describe, because it's a situation that we didn't necessarily know was coming, but it just happened, and I think that's what makes it more significant than others. Is like you grow up playing together, and then you finally get back together, and being on the field with him is great. He's one of my best friends. I love him. He's my brother, and it's just been an awesome experience, and I got to thank him, because if it wasn't for him, I don't know if I would be here.
Yeah.
So.
Did he have that sick mustache between ages 11 and 14? Or is that a more recent development?
No, I think that's more of a recent development, but man, Tyrus he's one of his own, man. He's great character, great dude, one of my best friends. So
Yeah, no, fun that you guys are back here, and
Right.
after playing at such a young age. But you're a South Carolina guy through and through. I mean, you've been here for your whole life, correct?
Right.
Yeah,
My whole life.
been here forever. Talk me through what your favorite things are to do here around the state. I mean,
man.
it's such a fun state with so many things.
Oh yeah. So I mean, obviously I love going to the beach. I live on the lake on Lake Murray back in Gilbert, South Carolina. So I love going on the boat with all my friends. But I'm a big hunter, a big fisherman. So love the outdoors. I got a farm up in Buffalo, South Carolina, out in the middle of the sticks. So
Nice.
I know that a lot of Northeast guys on the team aren't necessarily used to that, but oh yeah, I love to hunt, hang out with family. Fishing on the lake for bass is great, and I love going on the boat and, playing ball. So
Yeah. How does that, hunting and fishing and just, low energy kinds of things
Right.
that, are kind of more relaxing and stuff to pass the time. How does that, kind of take your mind off of baseball?
Right. I mean, I think that there's a time and a place to put the bat down, the ball down, and just go and do something else that you love, because, baseball can be a very mental game and can be very challenging at times. But yeah, hunting, when I'm out there in that deer stand, or I'm out on the boat, fishing, it's a relaxing moment. There's no pressure. There's no worries to think about. Like, you're out there sometimes by yourself, sometimes with buddies. It's a lot different when compared to a 6,500 packed stadium game against East Carolina in the eighth inning. So, I think it's good to feel both moments so that you're prepared for, both moments. But, hunting and fishing in particular help me kind of go off and enjoy time and enjoy the outdoors and the sunshine and all types of other things that, make me happy. So
I'll put you back into baseball mode here, because we got Auburn this weekend. Super Regionals, 2 wins away from Omaha. Take me through what your thought process is right now, and just how excited you are for this weekend and this opportunity.
Oh yeah, I mean, the opportunity has come. This is what we wanted. We wanted this challenge. We want a big time school like Auburn, and so I think we're prepared. I think that we're going to have a great practice today, great Tuesday practice, and get ready for travel day on Wednesday. And all I can think about is this is what we wanted. This is what we've practiced hard for. This is what we've lifted for. This is what we've scouted for. So I think everything's finally coming together right here at the end, and I think everybody on the team realizes that we're 2 wins away from a trip back to Omaha, and having Connor on the coaching staff has kind of made us realize also, he did it in 2016. Why can't we do it? Mm-hmm. So it's going to be a great experience for everybody. And we're ready for the challenge and ready to get after it.
You guys have been confident in yourselves all the way through. You guys have been hyper-focused at the goal
Right.
the entire season. Just talk me through, what do you and this team have to do to get those 2 wins against a tough Auburn team and get to that College World Series?
Right. So I think that, we always talk about we got to execute pitches on the pitching staff. We got to be able to make good defensive plays, play routine defense, limit the mistakes, and then we gotta bunch quality at bats together. As if in a lineup like ours, if we can bunch quality at bats on top of one another, that's when we get rolling. And I know I can't speak on the pitching staff because I'm not a pitcher, but I know that those guys, just if they can continue to what they're doing, and they've been the most consistent pitching staff in the entire country. They can continue what they're doing. We make the routine plays as a defense, continue to play phenomenal defense and stack quality at bats on top of one each other. And at the end of the day, execute the plan, get to 7 runs, or at least try to get to 7 runs or more. Try to score first. Little things like that is what drives our team to win every day.
Yeah, man, I'm fired up. I'm fired up for this weekend. You are too.
Yes, sir.
Congratulations on the run so far, and looking forward to watching this weekend.
Thank you so much.
All right, that was center fielder Wells Sykes. Really well-spoken guy, loves playing with this group, and he's amped up for this Super Regional this weekend, as am I. Auburn is hosting their first Super ever at Plainsman Park. They're the 4th overall national seed, and of course, we're the 13th. The games are set for 9 p.m. Eastern Time on Friday. That'll be on ESPN2. And Saturday, it's going to be at 3 p.m., also on ESPN2. We'll play Sunday if necessary, but everyone in Teal Nation is hoping for just 2 more wins to return to Omaha and the College World Series. I'll be making the trip down there. Cannot wait to see this team compete with the nation's best and hopefully make a return to college baseball's promised land. That'll do it for this week's episode. I want to thank Wells one more time for taking the time during the preparation this week to come on and get us all excited. Man, I'm fired up for a special weekend in Coastal baseball history. Let's win 2 more this weekend, Teal Nation. I'm Sam Wiederhaft signing off. Chant's up.